Hello, and welcome back to the Intuitive Soul Summit. My name is Destiny Hwang. I am your host. And today I have with me Jennifer Ackad. She is an embodiment and transformation activator. Welcome, Jennifer. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Destiny. Super happy to be here.
Yes, I was just telling Jennifer, I love her background. She's in Costa Rica, right?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm in Pachamama Eco Community.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, before we dive into this conversation, do you want to tell us just a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, who you help?
Yes, sure. So yeah, embodiment transformation, activator, coach, mentor. My passion is really to help women tap very intimately to themselves, to their inner world, so that they actually can stand very strong in their gifts and rest in their power, so that they become unstoppable and unshakable. Now, these are words, but it's actually a frequency that they start embodying to create the changes in their life where they actually feel called. So it's really about soul embodiment, where once they receive that clarity from within, they rebirth and they start living a new life, a total shift of their life. And naturally, what comes out of this is their gifts, their natural gifts. They get connected to this life force that gives them juice constantly, and they're operating in life from that very feminine way of receiving the guidance, receiving intuition, and then responding to life and making the required shifts for this. And also receiving, creating structures for their gifts and, like building something for other people and receiving wealth for this. So it's kind of this process that I bring women into, from the very root of safety inside yourself to, embodying the soul guidance and embodying the life you're meant and designed to live.
I love that. And I love your answer. It was so concise, and you could just, like you said, the frequency, you could feel it of exactly what you do. Thank you for sharing that. And I love that you bring up talking about the gifts. And I want to talk about that. How when people kind of start this process, or maybe they're deep in their healing work, or they're discovering their gifts, we kind of, some of us anyway, can kind of get caught up in the energy of it, or get caught up in our heads of like, oh, this is what our gifts are. This is how we, what are we going to do next? And we kind of forget about this, like the grounding piece and the connecting to Mother Earth. And I feel just so inspired by your background right now. That's why I'm talking about it. And I know that you connect to Mother Gaia as well and receive all of her magic. So maybe could you start us off by speaking to that piece a little bit?
Yes, Mother Gaia and the frequency coming from the core of the earth. Without this, I wouldn't have created everything that I have created. I wouldn't be the woman that I am today, because this is where I find home. This is where I find safety. This is where I regenerate. This is where I can actually drop the weight of my body and receive just this deep, nurturing essence of the mother coming from my roots, right? This embodied aspect of the mother. And personally, this is what allowed me to not only encounter my gifts, which is not, I say my gifts, but we are the gift. Our essence is the gift. Ultimately, it's about Mother Gaia helps us peel off from our bodies everything that's not true and aligned. She's not here to control us. The wounded mother controls, but the mother is here to clear us from all the BS in our life. So that's when I surrender. It's like, hey, honey, like release yourself from this contract. You don't need to be operating with this personality or this persona anymore. Come back to your center, come back to your nature. That's how she whispers. So it's very cocooning like, but also very fierce, because there's the fire of the earth that can kick in also, which is more the masculine aspect of responding, because once we're regenerated naturally, there's a movement outwards that wants to come also. So for me, the connection to Mother Earth is crucial, because it's also at a physical level, the grounding of the nervous system. So we speak about soul embodiment and all these beautiful ideas and everything, but at the end of the day, if we're not grounded on earth, if we're not in reality, if our nervous system is not capable of handling this potential that we're meant to be embodying, if we follow this soul path, it's not going to work. We can speak about our gifts, we can have our visions, we can have tons of ideas and dreams, but at the end of the day, our body's not going to be oiled enough to be able to bring them into manifestation. So Mother Gaia, personally, this is where I regenerate. This is where I'm like, okay, nervous system, ground here, because you want to be able to take more. And the wanting to take more doesn't come from, an ego place of I want to become or I want to achieve. It's more when I tap inside, I feel the potential. And I'm pretty sure that most of the people who are listening now feel their potential. This is why they're called to such events, right? Sure. They know they have power. They feel the power. They feel the potential, but they're like, what's in the way? How come my life is not portraying these big visions or this big potential that I'm feeling? Well, most of the time it's because the nervous system hasn't built this resiliency. And I find resiliency by grounding on Mother Earth.
I find that's so important that you're talking about the nervous system. I completely agree. Could you maybe give us an example of your favorite way to connect to Mother Earth?
Sure. Yes, totally. I come from a background of yoga therapy and somatic work and trauma healing and interrelationship focusing, nonviolent communication, all these modalities, osteopathy, so my preferred way is it's actually a combination of all of this, which is an embodiment practice. And the embodiment practice it can be static postures, dynamic postures, or even palpations, and it's all about cultivating that intimacy with my inner world. So I practice personally about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours per morning or per day of this connection with my body, this connection with my inner world, this presence inside my body temple to clear what's not mine, to clear what's not in alignment with the frequency that's calling me. So that's the way that I'm choosing. Sometimes dancing can do it too, but I stay at the core of my body, So that's the tool that I use. That's the tool that I teach also, this embodiment practice that is a mix of everything that I shared. And it helps people to ground their nervous system, to find this inner safety, to find inner value, to ask less for validation from the outside, because we have to get real when we start embodying our gifts, and especially being visible with our gifts, our whole nervous system shakes. And you can maybe relate to this. Once we start being out there, if we don't overcompensate, because there's a stress factor when we start being visible, because we are totally programmed to be scared of our power, to be scared of being in our authentic voice, to share really the messages that we are here to bring. There's this deeply ingrained fear that we are not allowed to do this based on family structures, grids, whatever societal grids we've been born in. It conditioned us. So the resilience of the nervous system is going to practices us to hold our ground and hold our safety, hold our value when we are shining in our gifts, when our potential comes in and actually wants to be out and to help others, And yes, there's so much to share around this subject. That's why I promote so much this. No, come down here, reality, ground your nervous system, and accept the pace of your body, but keep on going.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, it is so important. And it's just the resiliency that you're talking about of how connected can you be to your inner core, yourself, in the physicality, so that when you do go out into the world, that you don't have that fear anymore of being seen. So important.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah, it's a muscle to practice.
Absolutely. Speaking of our gifts, I feel like a lot of our listeners probably are, like you said, aware that they have gifts. Maybe some of them even know what their gifts are, and they're starting to begin to walk that path. But I've just kind of noticed myself that knowing what your gifts are and actually embodying them can be two separate things, and sometimes a bit of a struggle. So could you kind of walk us through, maybe what is embodying your gifts, and then maybe some action steps, like how do you embody them?
Yes, I feel that what I just named around the practice it's really that's really the process, right? And because your gifts are ultimately who you are, you as soul, you as essence. This is the gift. It's really starting to be anchored at this vibration, the vibration of your soul. So the step-by-step work is actually going inside and peeling off what's no longer required in your life. So addressing reality and looking at your playground, your relationships, your work setup, your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, your patterns, your food. You know, this is when we address reality, right? And we're like, wow, is this actually in alignment with my highest calling, with this frequency that's actually that I'm being called to embody? And creating space in the body through this embodiment practice, or however you choose. This is what I bring, but it creates a space for that potential to come in, right? And that potential coming in creates pressure in the body, and action then starts in your real life, and you start embodying that potential. But if it's just a potential that you feel, and then the body is separated, it creates a split and a lot of frustration, because you feel the potential, but the body is operating at a different frequency. And it wants to stay in the comfort zone, and it wants to stay in security and in known and in relationship. But the truth is, the second you accept this potential in, it will create pressure. It will create pressure inside the body, and it will push you to create the changes. And where discomfort, dis-ease, unhealthy habits, compensations happen is when there's a calling, and then the ego or the body resists. And it's like, no, no. So it creates a split and a split and a split from our gifts. Because our gifts are, it's that potential that wants to enter. But if we keep on saying no, our frequency drops here. And then we start entering unhealthy dynamics. It becomes, our life is more based on, I mean, we enter, I'm going to put it like this, like energy either creates or destroys, right? And destroys doesn't need to be like, you know, being violent with somebody. It can be as simple as having self-destructive thoughts, right? But if we want to get out of all this nonsense of destructiveness, our attention needs to be shifted towards the potential, but then change is required. Mm-hmm. And many people quit there because they want to stay in what they know. But we have to accept this unknown and accept to start creating the changes in our 3D reality to create this shift and embody more of that potential, which is the gift. Because every layer of authenticity that you will embody, every layer of more potential that you will embody is a gift to others. You will naturally inspire others by embodying more of your gifts, or that's essence of yours. Every step of the way. You don't need to become anybody else than every step of the way, because it has ripple effects. This energy that you will be embodying has a ripple effect without even sharing a word, just through your presence will have a ripple effect on your surroundings. I hope it answers. Yeah,
that was exactly the answer I was looking for, because I feel I asked push more for it, because I know there's people like me where it's like, okay, I can do the yoga every morning, but then what? You know, and it's so much more than just that. It's so much more, like you said, all that whole answer was so beautiful. The piece I love about making the space for the potential to come in, because we feel it and we hear it and we know it's there, but we just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But to just, you know, back off a little and allow it to come in and just follow the breadcrumb trail then of, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? All we have to do is kind of back off and allow it to come in. It's like it's magic that it works all on its own. But then you have to take the action steps, right? Of like, okay, this isn't working. Okay, I'm going to let that go.
Yes.
Yes.
It's that balance between the feminine and the masculine. Mm-hmm. It's like that step back and being in that receptive mode, that magic of receiving.
Yes.
And then at one point your body will tell you, okay, there will be a propulsion of do this, a whisper, an intuition saying, now take that action. Now make that phone call, contact that person, resolve that conflict, let go of that relationship. It whispers. Absolutely. But we need to have this space inside to hear it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or else we just get busy with our energy and it becomes busyness.
That's so
rather than living organically.
So true. Yes.
And you were referring to, you know, like yoga and all of this. So yoga can be used for well-being, but the depth of the tool of embodiment or yoga is way more, like you say, and it's a choice. And it's all fine if you want to use yoga or embodiment for your well-being and surround yourself with people who teach that. But if you do want to pursue that embodiment into a next level, there are also venues, because your potential, which is soul purpose or whatever, you're all encrypted. You're all designed to follow this if it's a calling for you.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Since we're on the topic of this embodiment piece, I know you have a little short meditation. Would you mind guiding us through that about the embodying frequency?
Yes, yes. Perfect. Perfect. So you can close your eyes and start feeling your weight dropping on Mother Gaia. And being open to receive the sensations of your body. Receiving the sensations around your feet, your legs. Receiving the sensations around your hips. And allowing your body to rest. Bring that curiosity in of, if I allowed my body to micro-adjust without interfering, where is it actually leading me? And being with the sensations instead of merging with the sensations. So you are with the sensations, not totally merged nor totally detached. You're kind of like holding that baby of sensations. And relaxing your pelvis space, your pelvic floor, your womb space if you're a woman, the whole pelvic volume. And relaxing the belly, receiving the sensations at the level of the belly. And feeling the sensations of the diaphragm going up and down, giving a massage to your body. And feeling the pulsation of your heart, your physical heart, and also the pumping of the lungs. So we are being very intimate with our body to create that space at the body level. And feeling how your breath moves from the pelvis to your heart. Receiving yourself as a body. Giving space for you to receive. And relaxing your throat. Relaxing the back of your neck and receiving through the skin of your face. How does it feel to receive through the skin of your face? And receiving at the back of your eyes, relaxing the back of your eyes. Allowing the brain and the breath of the brain to relax, creating space around the brain physically. And feeling how the brain moves in the skull. Surrendering all the weight of the body on Mother Earth, receiving from the core center of the earth all the abundance that Earth is here to actually offer to you as your birthright. Weaving the energy field of your body with the abundance that is always here present. And allowing all this energy field connected to Earth to be weaved by the highest calling of your heart. Bathing in the gratitude of receiving. You are here in your body and you're allowing this weaving with infinite gratitude. And taking a deep breath. And in that quality of breath and connection, make a decision for yourself right now. That inner decision that you are choosing this path of soul embodiment and receiving all the abundance that you are designed to receive through the guided steps that your soul is going to whisper to you. Make a decision to enter that unknown path and fall in love with that. Bathing in the mystery. And you can slowly move your fingers, move your body. And when you open your eyes, receive and perceive what's around, how your body is receiving that. What are the new filters? What are the new opportunities or things that you're seeing with fresh eyes? What doors are opening?
That was so beautiful, Jennifer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Beautiful. Well, I know that you have a free gift for our listeners. Do you want to tell them a little bit about that before we go?
Yes, sure. So the free gift is a 1.5 hour practice, embodiment practice that will guide you through the principles of this embodiment that we were speaking about just now. So there's going to be different types of postures, static postures, more dynamic, maybe some palpations, and it's a 90-minute practice where you can bathe, and anytime you can go back to the practice, ground your nervous system, create space to gain more clarity if you feel stuck, or if you want to feel your deep desires, if you want to feel that highest calling. And it's just amazing to tap into the body and to build intimacy for your life also. And yes, it's a video, it's a recording.
Oh, sounds beautiful. What a great offering. Thank you so much, Jennifer. This has been so much fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Destiny. Yeah.
Yes, my pleasure. Okay, take care. Talk soon.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.